Bought this piece for $50 off Facebook Marketplace and I'm reselling it for $325 and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tay and I love to remodel old furniture. In today's video, I am working on this credenza that I got off Facebook Marketplace for just $50. I always like to start off by removing anything that can get in the way while I'm painting or sanding. For this, I'm removing the hardware and the door hinges. If you're a frequent watcher, you're probably thinking, this is a different location, and that's because I originally started this project 5 months ago, when I was working on my front porch at my old house. People think that they need some fancy shop to do what I do, but quite frankly, all you need is the space to do it. Working on my front porch wasn't the most ideal, but it worked for me, and it's where I got my start. So if I can do it, you most certainly can do it too. Now that brings us to current day. Honestly, I'm not sure why I forgot to finish this project, but it had been sitting in my shop for way too long and I thought now was time to finish it. For a short while, it became my work table at my old house, so it has some minor dents and dings, but it appears I put on a coat of primer 5 months ago, but I didn't get that on recording. So I definitely used the bin primer and I will include that on the screen. I am pulling out the Bondo filler to save this one. Since I use this credenza as a work table, it definitely has some dings that need to be patched up. Also, I have grown so much in 5 months, I'm going to be honest, my sanding job for this piece was not the best. So it was very uneven in many areas, so I decided to put some Bondo to even it out. I have recently become a fan of laying furniture on its back. I find it's much more easier to work with, and these furniture movers are the best for that. This piece was covered in thin veneer except for the base. Veneer is so hard to work with, but since the base is solid wood, I decided I was going to stain that and then paint the rest. When I first started furniture flipping, I would use the blue painter's tape, but I made the switch to this froggy tape and I'm never going back. This tape outperforms that blue painter's tape I used to use and I'm a huge fan. There were still some areas that still needed primer, so I pulled out my bin all-in-one primer. This primer is my go-to primer. As you can tell, I'm running out of it, so I need to go to the store soon and get some more. My most favorite flips end up being the ones that I don't think are going to turn out well. My last furniture flip gave me a run for my money. Though it sold in 24 hours, I felt very discouraged after it. So starting a half-finished project was perfect for me. I didn't think this project could be saved after being a work table for months, but I think I was wrong. This Bondo always works well for me, but sometimes it could be a little porous, so in the porous areas, I love to use the Bondo Spot Putty Filler and it makes it appear smooth. I was working on another project with this black paint, and I had a little bit left over in my paint gun, so I thought it would be enough for the first coat, but boy was I wrong, because it barely got through half of this piece, so I had to run to the store to buy more paint. Before running to the store, I thought it would be a great idea to sand the back of the doors. I figured if I sanded really lightly, I would try not to bust through the veneer and I could stain the back of the doors the same color as the base. It's an added touch that I love to do. This color Caviar is my favorite black color. I've used it on a few pieces and it always does me right. While waiting for my paint to mix at Lowe's, I was looking around in the paint section and I found these paint lids for only $3. So I figured why not try it? And you know what? I'm gonna need at least 30 more of these because these work fantastic. It cuts down on my use of white rags and it limits the mess. And I don't have to keep putting the lid off and on. I am so glad I discovered these. Surprisingly, I had no issues with my paint gun and I got it to work right away, which never happens. My biggest tip when using a paint gun is to only overlap the previous row by 50%. That will help avoid dripping. Someone commented this trick and I will never forget it. My dog Bartley was sitting so perfect outside of my workshop. Of course I had to go say hi to him, and of course here comes Toby. You see how well that froggy tape worked? So crisp. Had a ton of visitors in the shop. Chloe wanted to say hi as well and check on the progress. For my stain color, I used the stain color Rustic Beige and Early American. You may think I'm crazy, but I had a vision of the stain color I wanted, and I mixed these two together to achieve that color. I didn't use any exact measurements, I kind of just measured by heart. Also, don't forget to use pre-stain. Pre-stain is super important to make sure your stain applies evenly. I hardly ever get the stain right on the first try, but quite honestly, this turned out perfect. It was the exact color I was looking for, and it didn't turn out splotchy, so that's a win. I then went in with the top coat in the sheen Satin by Minwax. I put this in my paint gun and I don't dilute it with water because it is already pretty runny. I'm also convinced that they labeled this wrong. You'll see in the end result, but I think it might have been a semi-glossy look. You'll have to let me know in the comments below. Now it is time to reassemble the piece. Putting on the hinges is always an intimidating part for me. I always somehow put them on uneven, so I struggle to close the doors. But with this piece, luckily, I didn't have any issues. If you're looking to save money, you can always restore your hardware. This was my first time doing it, and I have to say I'm quite a fan. I just put my hardware in a pot with a cup of water and a cup of vinegar. I let it boil for about 15 minutes and then scrubbed it down with a wire brush, and it worked out perfectly. I saved money on hardware, and that's a win, though it did make my house smell a little bit. As a reminder, here's what this piece looked like before. Just a tiny bit outdated, looking for a good refresher. And here's what it looks like now. I am obsessed with how this turned out. I love the black, I love the wood, I love the hardware. It all turned out so perfect. I truly think that they mislabeled my top coat by Minwax because it looks more glossy than I anticipated, but nonetheless, it turned out perfect. I'm so glad I stained the inside of the doors. This has easily become one of my favorite pieces that I've done so far. You guys will have to let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you guys so much for watching.